Morning.
Hello, Butch. How are
How
you?
are you? I'm pretty good. How are you?
Fine, just fine. Do you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Okay, Butch, thank you for this interview with Rocaxis magazine in Chile. So let's talk about No Gods, No Master. How has been the making process of the record?
Well, we started in early 2019. We did some sessions in Palm Springs, which is about 2 hours outside of Los Angeles. And we just camped out in a house and set up all our gear in the living room, and we jammed basically, and we came up with about 30 or 40 song ideas. Then we brought those back to LA, and as Shirley started writing lyrics, the music got more and more intense, and I think it's part of it was because Shirley was writing about how crazy the world is, and that what she was seeing every day, especially here in America with Trump as president. It's just like every day was a nightmare. Um, and so, as a band, Duke and Steve and I really ratcheted up the intensity of the music to sort of match what she was singing about. So it's definitely the most social, political record that we've made.
Okay, so it's cool to see that it it matches with the temperature not only in America but in the world, I guess. So is it true that the title "No Gods, No Masters" is inspired by a graffiti that Shirley saw here in Chile?
It is, and in the end of the first song, "The Men Who Rule the World," Shirley saw a protest with I think there were like 100,000 women marching in Chile somewhere, and they were "Violator, destroy the violator," and she took that directly, and that's the mantra that she sings at the end of "The Men Who Rule the World." So, hats off to Chile for inspiring a lot of the garbage record. I mean, Shirley just saw what was happening on the news, and she wrote, that's how we wrote that song.
Okay, that's great. You work with Heva Kadri,
Yes,
who
yeah.
had worked also with Slow Dive, Beach House, Bjork. How was that experience?
Well, I've known Heba for a long time. Um, she's a brilliant engineer, and what I like about her is that she understands garbage. Every song that we do can sound different. We can do a song with really loud guitars. We can do a song that's very electro or very techno sounding, and we can do a song like at the end of the record. Um, what's the last song? "This City Will Kill You," which is like an orchestral, like it's like a film score. And so she knows when she's getting a garbage record that she has to take all these different sonic palettes and give it some cohesion, so as you listen to the record all the way through. And I still like to listen to albums in their entirety. I put on the first song and let it go all the way to the end. I know a lot of fans don't do that. They just want to hear whatever the popular single is, but we wanted the record to the listener to put it on and take a journey from start to end. So Heb is a brilliant mastering engineer and helps us get that kind of cohesion in the sound.
Yeah, do you agree that the album recalls to beautiful garbage in a way? Lots of hooks, lots of guitar, but also electronic elements.
I do, and the interesting thing is we're just finishing up a new remastering for Beautiful Garbage, including all the B-sides and a bunch of remixes, and so it was funny because I was listening to the final mastering of No Gods, No Masters, and then listening to Beautiful Garbage, and I think to me, what I hear, they're like mutant cousins, and part of that is because sonically, Beautiful Garbage, every song was quite different sounding. The record to me is very eclectic in terms of the production, and I feel the same way about No Gods, No Masters. Every song kind of has its own vibe. Yeah, I think this record is more. The new record is more, like I said, more social political, and a lot of the songs on Beautiful Garbage were more personal for Shirley, but sonically, I hear them as being intertwined.
Sonically, I feel that it is kind of an album that is full of colors. It's kind of a mix between modern and vintage sounds. For example, the synth at the beginning of Waltz or flipping the birds sounds like New Order. But at the same time, Godhead, for example, sounds very modern. So what are the influences on this record? What have you been listening to?
Well, Flipping the Bird, yeah, that's Shirley wanted to sing a song really low. So she sings really low in her register. I was at the wicked, and that was inspired by Liz Phair. Shirley had been listening to the first Liz Phair record, Exile in Guytown, right? Exile in Guytown, is that the title? Anyway, it's the first Liz Phair record, and Liz sings really low. So Shirley wanted to sing in a very low register. That song was also inspired by Young Marble Giants. I don't know if you know that band. They were kind of a lo-fi pop band from England in the late 80s, early 90s, and we love that band. So sonically, there's some references to that. I also hear some references to Talking Heads on the new record, like especially the first track, the Men Who Rule the World, and Roxy music. I'm a huge Roxy music fan, and the song Anonymous, to me, when it kicks in with a guitar synth sax riff, that totally, to me, sounds like it could be a Roxy music song. And the way Shirley sang the verse in Anonymous, I could totally hear Brian Ferry singing that.
It would be maybe a good way to have a duo. It would be very interesting to have a duo. A duo thing on that song.
Yeah, that would be super
Brian
cool.
It would
have Brian and Shirley sing together. Yeah, that would be cool.
Yes, it would be. We were talking about the we may say the Chilean reference in the record, but also you have worked with the Chilean artist Javiera Garcia Huidobro for the video of The Men Who Rule the World. How was the experience?
Well, I think she's a fantastic artist, and Shirley connected with her somehow a year or two ago on Facebook or Instagram. I don't know how she did it, but it was through social media. I think they were introduced, and we love the images that she has come up with. Fit perfectly with the content matter on The Men Who Rule the World, and she's working on a new video now for The Creeps, and so far the stills that she sent are just great. They're just crazy. So I can't wait to see what she does. But yeah, I mean, she, I think what is great is that her aesthetic visually it kind of works perfect with what we're doing sonically, and so we're really lucky in a way that we have hooked up with her, because I think she's a brilliant artist.
Yeah, and also it is a way for Chilean artists to be part of just kind of a worldwide scene, So
yeah, so this record is very connected to Chile. It's very connected to Chile.
Great. So I guess that you will be well received when finally can enjoy a garbage show here in Chile after all this COVID thing going on. Do you feel that way? Do you feel that this record in Chile will be well received in a live environment?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, we're going to try and do some shows in August and September here in North America, and then possibly be going over to the UK and Europe for like a month in November. But we're hoping to make it down to South America in 2022. I mean, obviously, the pandemic is still where everybody's trying to figure out how to deal with it, and it's going to take a while, So we're just, we want the main thing is we want everybody to be safe. But I'm fingers crossed in 2022 we'll be able to come down and play some shows. And if we make it down to South America, we're definitely coming to Chile.
Yes, that's what we wanted to hear.
Right on.
Well, you will be touring, I guess, with Alanis Morissette and Blondie as guest artists. At least that's what it's in the schedule. So they also release amazing records in these few years. So how is the relation with Alanis Morissette and Blondie? It is a very powerful schedule, you know.
Well, I mean, we like playing with women artists. I mean, Shirley loves it. Years ago, Garbage toured with Alanis Morissette when her first record came out, and she became a massive star. And we've also toured with Blondie before. Shirley inducted Blondie into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so she's known Deborah Harry for a long time. And I know it's important to us as a band, and especially to Shirley, that to try and encourage young women to pick up a guitar and use your voice, or get behind a keyboard or get behind a drum kit and start bashing the drums, So I think any time that we can go on tour with women, that's a powerful statement. And, it may be 20 years after our records came out and we toured together, but I think it's going to be pretty fun to step back on stage with them again later this year.
That's amazing. In 2018, you did a tour celebrating the 20 years of version 2. How was that?
Well, it was really fun, but the thing that was hard was we decided to play all the B-sides that we had written, and we had never played some of those songs before. That there are B-sides that were recorded in the studio, and then you just use them as a flip side to a single. And that was it took us a lot of rehearsal to figure out how to play those. But once we did, it was great because our hardcore fans who came to those shows, they love hearing all the obscure tracks, the B-sides and things. So that was fun. We're doing a box set for Beautiful Garbage, and that's going to come out either later this year or I think later this year, right? Will be the anniversary of that. So we're hoping we can do some shows also maybe in 2022 where we go out for like a couple months and we play all the songs from Beautiful Garbage, but we'll see. Again, we'll have to learn a lot of B-sides, and that's always the hard thing to do.
There's a good hook for the hardcore fans, as you say, because we always wanted to see and hear the tracks that are normally maybe set aside, in a regular show.
Yeah.
So,
but it makes you realize when you try to figure out the arrangement, some of the B-sides we wrote and recorded really fast, and we're like, nobody can remember the arrangement. So we have to put the CD on with headphones and play along to it about 5 or 6 times so everybody figures out, oh yeah, here's how the song goes. It's pretty funny. It's a funny process to do that, to relearn your B-sides.
That's cool. But you're a busy guy. So you have another band called 5 Billions in Diamonds.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you describe that band for maybe people who is not aware of?
Well, 5 Billion in Diamonds is a collaboration with 2 of my good friends in the UK who are DJs, Andy Jenks and James Grillo. And about 4 or 5 years ago, we started writing some music that was inspired by film soundtracks. And then initially it was all instrumental music. And then we decided to bring on some guest singers. And the first person we called or we met up with was Ebbot Lundberg from a rock band from Sweden, The Soundtrack of Our Lives. We're huge fans of his. And he said, well, of course I'd like to sing some songs. So then we started reaching out to other people, and including the rhythm section from Massive Attack, the bass and drums, Damon, and our bass player, Sean, and Al Lee, the guitar player who plays with Florence and the Machine, joined us to play. And I worked with a bass player here in LA who plays with Beck, Justin Meldal Johnson. He came in and played bass, and we recorded a lot of it in England and a lot of it here in my studio that I'm sitting in here in Los Angeles. And I think both records, we have 2 records out now. The first record came out, I think, in 2017 or 2018. And then the newest record just came out in November of 2020. So yeah, 5 Billion in Diamonds. It's kind of based on film soundtracks, and but the collaborations with the artists are great, and I think there's some great songs on the album. So check it out. Go to Spotify and you can check it out.
And yes, and maybe it has another side of your music that does not feel with garbage. So it's good to hear you in another sonic environment too. Well, but I can't let you go without asking you about the 30 years anniversary of Nirvana's Nevermind. So, what are your thoughts about it 3 decades from now?
Well, it's hard to believe it's 30 years. That's crazy, absolutely crazy. I think the record still sounds really fresh and as vital now as it did when it came out. And that was a zeitgeist moment for me. I think it was for the band and everybody involved with Nirvana, it completely changed their lives. It changed my life. But I think it also changed music fans' lives. You know, people were looking for something different. And when that record came out, it was like a lightning bolt hit, you know, that nobody saw coming. And that doesn't happen very often. So I think it really impacted a lot of people's lives. So I think I'm going to celebrate the 30th anniversary. I'm going to open up a really good bottle of wine. I know that much.
Many of us will do.
I've been texting with Dave Grohl, and he is a busy man. He's always working on a film or working some project or working with the Foos, and they're getting ready to do some touring too. But I think they've got some special plans for the 30th anniversary, but he hasn't told me too much yet about what's going on. So I'll wait and see when he'll fill me in when the time is right.
And how was it to record Wasting Light that reunites you and Dave and Chris Novoselic?
Oh man, Wasting Light was such a fun record to do, and for me as a producer, I think that record sounds the most authentic, like the Foo Fighters sound. Mm-hmm. It's not too slick. You know, we recorded the bulk of it in the garage in Dave's house, and it's, you know, we did it on tape, and so you can't manipulate the sound. Like with computers, you can record and you can fix things with auto-tune. You can cut and paste and move them around, and you can make things perfect. And on tape, it's all about performance. You have to play in real time your part. And so to me, when I hear that record or hear songs from that record, it sounds like the Foo Fighters. And the experience was great, man. I loved, you know, I've known Dave for a long time. He's a good friend, and the Foos are just great musicians and really good people. And the only thing that was kind of crazy about that record was they were doing a documentary too. That's when Dave just started filming everything. He pretty much, there's cameras rolling everywhere he goes now. And so I was in the studio every day, and there's all these cameras around, and you just forget about it, you know, after a while. But it's you know, I'm not used to having a camera 6 inches from your face when you're sitting behind the mixing board. That takes some getting used to. But yeah, that was a great experience, Wasting Light.
Well, and that, okay. Final question, Butch. It was been a great talk, and never mind Nirvana and the Smashing Pumpkins and Foo Fighters and all the alternative rock music, also garbage, had changed many fans' lives. So, what are your thoughts about the state of rock music these days?
Well, every year people ask me, is rock dead? No, rock is not dead. But it's not getting played in top 40 radio. I mean, the Foo Fighters are going to sell out a stadium with 80,000 people. People want to hear rock and roll. There's great punk band. You know, punk music's kind of always been in the underground. There's so many cool punk bands out there. But rock music, rock and roll doesn't really get played on mainstream radio anymore. It's very much a world of pop, hip hop, R&B, even EDM or electronica or techno. Club music gets played on top 40 radio. But there's always going to be an audience that wants to hear someone get on stage with an attitude and banging an electric guitar. That's never going to go away, So I embrace rock and roll and will continue to do so.
Yeah, and the way that you embrace rock and roll with electronic elements sounds so fresh in Garbage or in your own band. So I guess that keeping that experience for musical fans, we can't say that rock and roll is dead at all. So
rock and roll is alive and kicking.
Yes, my friend. So thank you very much for this interview, Butch. It was a great honor to interview you, one of my heroes, personal heroes. So
cool. Thanks, Pablo.
Thanks.
And hello to all our fans in Chile. And hopefully, like I said, we'll be able to come down there, play some shows in 2022. And in the meantime, be safe. Try and stay safe.
Will do. Thank you. Thank you, Butch.
Cool. Right on.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.